Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into something that's close to the heart of anyone who's entered that golden stage of life, finding peace, respect, and genuine connection in our communities. Whether you're 55 or 85, your home should be your sanctuary, a place of comfort and calm. But sometimes, maintaining that serenity requires a bit of wisdom about who we let into our lives, and who we should maybe keep at arm's length. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering whether it's time to reevaluate some of your relationships, whether it's with neighbors or family, stick around. We're breaking it down into practical steps on how to gracefully set boundaries and protect your peace. And hey, if you find this helpful, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our upcoming tips for navigating life in the golden years. Part 1: 3 types of neighbors to avoid. As we grow older, our home becomes more than just a place to live, it becomes our sanctuary. After years spent building careers, raising families, and navigating life's many ups and downs, the desire for a peaceful, secure, and quiet environment often becomes paramount. Yet the relationships we maintain in our neighborhoods, especially those with our neighbors, can significantly impact the tranquility we aim to preserve. While some neighbors bring comfort and companionship, others can introduce unnecessary stress, disrupt our routines, or create conflicts that disturb the peace we hold dear. For older adults, particularly those aged 55 and above, recognizing and managing difficult relationships is an important part of safeguarding one's well-being. Here's a closer look at 3 types of neighbors who may unintentionally or intentionally create discord, along with approaches for managing these relationships to protect your space and maintain harmony. 1. The intrusive gossip. The first type of neighbor to be cautious about is the intrusive gossip. This neighbor goes beyond casual curiosity, prying into others' lives with relentless interest and, at times, a lack of respect for privacy. They may inquire about your family, health, finances, or even habits in ways that feel intrusive. What makes them particularly concerning is not just their nosiness, but their penchant for spreading information, often exaggerated or even distorted, throughout the neighborhood. This can lead to misunderstandings, unwanted attention, and even conflicts within the community. Impact on your privacy and peace. Privacy is a cherished value, especially as we age and desire a safe, peaceful environment. An intrusive gossip's constant prying can disrupt that peace, making even simple daily routines feel like they're under scrutiny. This type of neighbor may linger near your yard, drop by unexpectedly, or frequently ask questions that seem innocent but are actually a means to gather more personal details. They might even monitor your visitors, inquire about family gatherings, or make offhand remarks about changes you make to your home. Over time, their invasive behavior can make you feel less secure in your own space, knowing that any detail shared may become a topic of gossip among others. Philosophy of distance and boundaries. Handling an intrusive gossip requires a delicate balance of politeness and assertiveness. Start by limiting the information you share in conversation. Keep discussions light, sticking to safe, neutral topics like the weather, local events, or shared community concerns. If they press for more details about your personal life, try responding with vague answers or gently changing the subject. Additionally, consider setting physical boundaries as well. If they tend to drop by unannounced, make it clear that you value privacy by politely excusing yourself. Remain friendly but firm, conveying that your boundaries are non-negotiable. Over time, the gossip may come to understand that your life isn't open for discussion, leading them to shift their focus elsewhere. Remember, preserving your peace doesn't mean shutting people out completely, it simply means prioritizing what you're willing to share and when. 2. The self-serving neighbor. Next is the self-serving neighbor, a type who views relationships primarily in terms of personal gain. This neighbor often appears friendly initially, giving the impression of warmth and sociability. However, as time goes on, it becomes clear that their friendliness is conditional, largely motivated by what you can offer them. The self-serving neighbor is likely to ask for frequent favors, ranging from picking up their mail, watering their plants, or looking after their property, while rarely, if ever, offering anything in return. The requests may start small but can escalate over time, leaving you feeling used or even manipulated. Impact on your energy and well-being. Being neighborly often involves lending a helping hand, but when a relationship becomes one-sided, it can start to feel draining. Constantly giving without receiving in return can wear you down both emotionally and physically. You may find yourself going out of your way to accommodate their needs, only to realize that they seldom extend the same consideration. This can lead to feelings of resentment or frustration, particularly if you value fairness and mutual respect. For older adults who may have less physical energy or who are managing their own responsibilities, the added burden of helping a self-serving neighbor can feel overwhelming. Philosophy of fairness and assertiveness. Navigating a relationship with a self-serving neighbor involves setting clear boundaries and managing expectations. If you notice that they only approach you when they need something, consider being less readily available for their requests. Politely decline when their demands become too frequent or unreasonable, and don't feel obligated to explain yourself in detail. Remember, your kindness is not something to be taken for granted, nor is it an obligation. Expressing boundaries could be as simple as saying, "I'm not available to help this time," or suggesting alternative solutions that don't involve your direct assistance. By establishing these limits, you preserve your energy for relationships that are mutually supportive and respectful. The self-serving neighbor may eventually recognize that their requests are not an automatic yes and either begin to reciprocate or seek assistance elsewhere. 3. The disruptive neighbor. The third type of neighbor to be mindful of is the disruptive neighbor. This individual may have habits or a lifestyle that inadvertently, or sometimes deliberately, interferes with the peace and quiet of the neighborhood. They could be someone who hosts frequent late-night gatherings, plays loud music, or allows their property to fall into disrepair, affecting the shared aesthetics of the community. Additionally, some disruptive neighbors might disregard communal spaces, leaving trash, blocking driveways, or even engaging in activities that create safety concerns. Their actions can disturb the neighborhood's harmony, affecting not just you but the entire community. Impact on your tranquility and health. Noise and disorder can take a significant toll on mental and physical well-being, especially for those who value a serene living environment. Repeated disturbances can lead to stress, disrupt sleep, and erode the sense of security in your own home. Imagine spending a quiet afternoon reading, only to be interrupted by loud music, or returning from a day out to find the shared lawn cluttered with trash. Over time, these disruptions can make it hard to feel at ease, even within the walls of your own home. For older adults who prioritize peace, the stress caused by a disruptive neighbor can lead to anxiety or even resentment, detracting from the comfort of daily life. Philosophy of diplomacy and control. Dealing with a disruptive neighbor often requires a diplomatic approach, especially if you hope to address the issue without creating tension. Begin by addressing the matter in a calm and non-confrontational manner. Express your concerns politely, focusing on how their behavior affects the shared environment rather than criticizing them personally. For example, say, "I wanted to mention that the music at night sometimes makes it hard for me to sleep," or "the communal area is important to all of us, and it would be great if we could all keep it tidy." Often, neighbors are unaware of how their actions impact others and may be willing to make adjustments. If a polite conversation doesn't lead to improvement, consider reaching out to a neighborhood association or property manager for assistance. In situations where changes are unlikely, explore ways to protect your own peace. Simple modifications like soundproofing windows, creating a relaxing indoor retreat, or planning quiet outings can help minimize the impact of external noise. Above all, remember that while you may not control your neighbor's actions, you do have control over your environment and how you respond. Your home is your sanctuary, and it's worth every effort to preserve it as a place of comfort and serenity. Part 2: 3 types of relatives to keep your distance from. Family relationships are often the most meaningful and impactful in our lives, but that doesn't mean all family dynamics are inherently positive or beneficial. Sometimes, even the people we share blood ties with can bring more stress than joy into our lives. As we grow older, cultivating a healthy family environment becomes even more essential. It's a time to carefully assess which relationships nurture us and which may need some distance to preserve our well-being. Here are 3 types of relatives who may require a mindful distance, along with insights on how to approach these relationships with a sense of self-respect and personal peace. 1. The borrower who doesn't repay. Financial interactions among family members can be challenging, as they intertwine with expectations of trust and support. However, some relatives take advantage of this trust, borrowing money without a genuine intention to repay or showing little gratitude for the assistance. They may rely on the family bond as a reason for leniency or use it as an excuse for not repaying, knowing that family members are often reluctant to demand repayment. This behavior can create stress and tension, particularly for older adults who are mindful of financial stability and may be living on a fixed income. Impact on your trust and financial security. Money is a sensitive subject in any relationship, and when it's borrowed and not returned, it can strain even the strongest of bonds. The borrower who doesn't repay can cause you to feel betrayed or manipulated, especially if the debt is dismissed or excuses are consistently given. For those in retirement or relying on savings, every financial decision matters, and unpaid debts can impact one's sense of security and peace of mind. The psychological toll of this kind of relationship is just as significant. It may lead you to question the sincerity of the family bond itself, causing unnecessary worry and frustration. Philosophy of financial boundaries and caution. Setting financial boundaries within the family may feel uncomfortable at first, but it is a necessary step for preserving both relationships and financial security. Before lending money to a relative, consider their past behavior and whether they have shown a commitment to repayment with others. If you do decide to lend, approach it as a business-like arrangement with clear terms and expectations. It may also be helpful to consider alternative ways of supporting your relative that don't involve direct financial assistance, such as helping them access resources or offering budgeting advice. Protecting your finances is a measure of self-respect, and it also communicates to others that your kindness and support have limits. Choosing not to lend money doesn't mean you don't care, it simply shows that you're prioritizing the health of the relationship over the complications that money can bring. 2. The self-absorbed relative. Some relatives seem to view the family as an audience or resource for their personal needs and aspirations. These self-absorbed individuals tend to lack empathy and see family as a means to their own ends, reaching out when they need support but rarely offering any in return. Their conversations are often dominated by their own interests, challenges, or complaints, with little regard for others' needs or well-being. For older adults who seek balanced, respectful relationships, the self-absorbed relative can become a source of frustration and emotional exhaustion. Impact on your emotional energy and mental health. Being a constant support to a self-absorbed relative can drain emotional energy over time, especially if they don't reciprocate care or attention. Interactions with these individuals often feel one-sided, leaving you feeling depleted rather than uplifted. They may expect you to listen to their issues without pause or demand help without regard for your own needs. For someone seeking peace and calm, a self-centered relative's behavior can feel invasive, placing you in a constant position of giving without receiving. Over time, this imbalance can lead to feelings of resentment or even sadness. Philosophy of self-respect and reciprocity. Self-respect is key when managing relationships with self-absorbed relatives. Recognize that healthy family relationships require a sense of reciprocity and mutual care. Set boundaries around your availability to listen or assist, and don't hesitate to express your own needs or limitations. Sometimes, a gentle but direct conversation can open their eyes to their behavior, helping them realize the importance of showing consideration. If they're unwilling to acknowledge or adjust their behavior, it may be time to limit interactions to protect your own well-being. Distancing yourself from a self-absorbed relative isn't a rejection of family, it's a choice to focus on relationships that bring value and respect into your life. Prioritizing your peace of mind allows you to invest energy in connections that bring joy and balance, making every interaction fulfilling. 3. The lazy dependent relative. Families often come together to support one another through challenges, but there are relatives who rely on family indefinitely, never striving to stand on their own. A lazy dependent relative may lack the motivation to change their circumstances, whether it's finding work, improving financial habits, or managing their personal lives. This dependency often leads them to lean on other family members, sometimes taking advantage of those who are more stable. While their needs may appear genuine, their reliance can quickly become a habit, one that burdens other family members, especially those who are compassionate and willing to help. Impact on your resources and peace of mind. Continuously supporting a dependent relative can strain both financial resources and emotional energy. If you find yourself regularly providing financial assistance, covering expenses, or even allowing them to live in your home, you may notice a gradual erosion of your own resources and comfort. This arrangement can also lead to resentment if the dependent relative makes no effort to change, instead settling into the support they receive from family. For those who have carefully planned for retirement or a quieter lifestyle, a dependent relative's needs can interrupt these plans and introduce unanticipated stress. Philosophy of empowerment and healthy boundaries. Encouraging self-reliance is one of the greatest gifts you can offer a dependent relative. While it may feel compassionate to provide ongoing support, in the long term, this dependency can prevent them from achieving their own potential. When dealing with a lazy or dependent relative, set clear limits on the support you offer. Explain that while you are willing to assist them during times of need, you also expect them to take proactive steps toward self-sufficiency. Offer guidance, job resources, or even assistance in finding community programs that can provide additional help, but make it clear that your support is temporary. Empowering your relative to become more self-reliant will help them build confidence, and it will preserve your own resources and peace of mind. Establishing boundaries in this way allows you to focus on maintaining a balanced and fulfilling life, knowing you've provided help without enabling dependency. Embracing distance for healthier family dynamics. Maintaining harmony in family relationships doesn't always mean staying close to every family member. There are times when distance, both emotional and physical, is necessary to protect our own well-being. By being selective with the relatives we allow into our inner circle, we ensure that the relationships we cultivate bring positivity, warmth, and mutual support. When relationships are draining, unbalanced, or even damaging, it's not only acceptable but wise to create some distance. The principles of self-respect, healthy boundaries, and personal peace guide these choices, helping you foster a family environment that uplifts and honors the unique needs of each individual. In doing so, you create space for family bonds that are supportive, balanced, and enriching, bringing a true sense of connection and fulfillment in this precious stage of life. Remember, your well-being is invaluable, and by respecting your own needs, you set a powerful example for others on the importance of nurturing relationships that contribute to a life well lived. Part 3: Recognizing toxic friends and setting boundaries. Friendships are an important part of life at any age. Good friends are there to uplift, support, and share in our joys and challenges. But just as with family and neighbors, not every friendship is beneficial, and some can even be harmful to your well-being. As we grow older, especially in our later years, it's crucial to prioritize relationships that contribute to our happiness, health, and peace of mind. Letting go of toxic friendships can be difficult, but it's an essential part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. In this section, we'll explore 3 types of toxic friends you may want to distance yourself from, along with practical ways to set boundaries while maintaining your peace. And if you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below if you have thoughts or stories to share. We love hearing from you. 1. The chronic complainer. Everyone has bad days and needs to vent from time to time. However, some people seem to always find the negative in every situation. These are the chronic complainers. Their energy is perpetually focused on what's wrong in their lives, and they seem unable or unwilling to recognize the positives. Instead of working through challenges or seeking solutions, they simply complain, often expecting others to listen without taking action themselves. While it's natural to want to be supportive of friends during tough times, spending too much time with a chronic complainer can have a draining effect on your mood and energy. This kind of behavior can sap the joy from your interactions and make you feel weighed down by negativity, even if those problems aren't yours to solve. Impact on your emotional energy. Being around someone who constantly complains can significantly impact your emotional well-being. You may find yourself feeling anxious, irritable, or even helpless as you get pulled into their cycle of negativity. Chronic complainers can make it challenging to maintain a positive outlook, especially if they refuse to consider any potential solutions to their problems. Over time, their endless stream of complaints may start to influence your perspective, making it harder for you to see the bright side of things. Philosophy of limited engagement and redirection. One of the most effective ways to handle a chronic complainer is to limit your engagement in their negativity. When they start complaining, try gently redirecting the conversation to something more positive or constructive. For instance, if they're talking about a recurring problem, ask them what steps they could take to improve the situation. This may help them recognize their own ability to create change rather than simply dwelling on what's wrong. If the complaints persist without any intention of finding solutions, it's okay to limit your time with that person. Politely excusing yourself from conversations that become overly negative can help you protect your energy. It's important to remember that you're not obligated to be the constant sounding board for someone else's frustrations, especially if it's affecting your peace of mind. 2. The friend who invalidates your feelings. Another toxic type of friend to be wary of is the one who invalidates your feelings. These friends tend to dismiss, belittle, or minimize your emotions. When you share something vulnerable, they may respond with phrases like, "It's not that big of a deal," or "You're overreacting." Instead of offering empathy or understanding, they may brush off your concerns, making you feel like your emotions aren't valid or important. This behavior can be especially damaging, as it can lead you to question your own feelings and make you feel misunderstood or unsupported. Emotional invalidation is harmful to any relationship, as it erodes trust and leaves you feeling isolated instead of comforted. Impact on your self-esteem. Being friends with someone who constantly invalidates your feelings can take a toll on your self-esteem. You may begin to doubt whether your emotions are justified or worry that you're overreacting. This can lead to a cycle of self-doubt, where you suppress your feelings to avoid criticism or dismissal. For older adults who have spent a lifetime navigating complex emotions, the need for empathy and understanding is greater than ever. Friends who invalidate your feelings make it difficult to feel supported, and they can prevent you from sharing your true self out of fear of being judged or minimized. Philosophy of assertiveness and self-validation. To address this type of behavior, start by practicing assertiveness. When a friend dismisses your feelings, calmly let them know how their response affects you. You could say something like, "I feel hurt when my emotions are minimized. I'd really appreciate it if you could try to understand where I'm coming from." This gives them a chance to recognize their behavior and make adjustments. If they continue to invalidate you despite your efforts, it may be time to distance yourself from that friendship. Remember that your feelings are valid, and you deserve to have friends who respect and honor your emotions. Self-validation is key. Remind yourself that your emotions are legitimate, regardless of how others may perceive them. 3. The manipulative friend. The third type of toxic friend to be aware of is the manipulative friend. These individuals are skilled at using guilt, pressure, or other tactics to get what they want. They might make you feel obligated to do things for them, or they may twist situations to make you feel like the bad person if you don't comply with their demands. Manipulative friends often disguise their intentions as concern or care, making it difficult to recognize their true motives. Manipulation can be subtle, which makes it especially dangerous. You may not realize you're being manipulated until you start feeling drained, guilty, or anxious about every interaction with this friend. Impact on your independence and well-being. Being friends with someone who manipulates you can take a significant toll on your mental and emotional well-being. You may find yourself constantly second-guessing your decisions or doing things you don't want to do just to keep the peace. This can lead to resentment and feelings of powerlessness, as you feel unable to assert your own needs and boundaries. Manipulative friends often prey on empathetic individuals who are naturally inclined to help others. If you're someone who values compassion and support, it can be easy to fall into their traps, feeling as though you have no choice but to comply with their requests. Philosophy of boundaries and self-empowerment. To protect yourself from manipulation, it's essential to set and maintain clear boundaries. When a friend tries to guilt you into doing something, remember that you have every right to say no. Practice using phrases like, "I'm not comfortable with that," or "I can't help this time." The key is to be firm and consistent, without feeling the need to explain or justify your decision. Empower yourself by recognizing the signs of manipulation and reminding yourself that a healthy friendship doesn't involve guilt or pressure. True friends will respect your boundaries and won't try to control or coerce you into doing things that aren't in your best interest. By distancing yourself from manipulative individuals, you create space for relationships that are based on mutual respect and genuine care. Embracing healthy friendships and letting go. As we navigate life, it's important to remember that not all friendships are meant to last forever. Some friendships serve a purpose during a specific time in our lives, while others become toxic and start to take more from us than they give. Letting go of friendships that no longer serve you isn't easy, but it's a necessary step toward preserving your well-being and happiness. Healthy friendships are built on a foundation of mutual respect, empathy, and support. They lift you up during tough times and celebrate your successes without jealousy or resentment. If you find yourself in relationships that are consistently draining, unbalanced, or harmful, it's time to consider whether those friendships are truly worth holding on to. Tips for navigating toxic friendships. Trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right in a friendship, trust your instincts. You don't need concrete proof to recognize that a relationship is affecting your well-being. Communicate your needs. If you want to give the friendship a chance, communicate your needs clearly. Let your friend know how their behavior affects you and what changes you'd like to see. Healthy friends will be receptive to this feedback. Limit your exposure. If communication doesn't lead to positive change, it's okay to limit your exposure to that friend. Spend less time with them and focus on relationships that bring positivity into your life. Surround yourself with positivity. Seek out friendships that are uplifting and encouraging. Surrounding yourself with positive, supportive individuals will make it easier to let go of the relationships that are weighing you down. Final thoughts on protecting your peace. Friendships should be a source of joy, comfort, and companionship. As you enter the golden years of your life, it's more important than ever to prioritize relationships that enrich your well-being and let go of those that do not. By recognizing toxic behaviors, setting healthy boundaries, and embracing the power of distance, you can create a circle of friends that genuinely supports and uplifts you. If this message resonates with you, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below with your experiences. Have you had to let go of toxic friendships? How did it impact your life? We'd love to hear your stories and learn from each other's journeys toward peace and fulfillment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss our future content on building a happier, healthier life. Part 4. Setting boundaries with acquaintances and community members. Navigating relationships doesn't stop with neighbors, family, or friends, it also extends to acquaintances and people within your community. These relationships may not hold the same level of depth as family or close friendships, but they can still significantly impact your peace and well-being. Whether it's someone from a club you attend, a regular face at your local market, or an old colleague, the interactions you have with these individuals can either be uplifting or unnecessarily draining. As we grow older, it's important to recognize when certain acquaintances bring more stress than joy and how to set boundaries to protect your mental and emotional well-being. In this part, we'll explore how to identify problematic behaviors among acquaintances and community members and offer practical ways to maintain a positive balance. 1. The passive-aggressive acquaintance. One type of acquaintance that can be particularly challenging to deal with is the passive-aggressive person. These individuals often express negative feelings indirectly rather than addressing them head-on. They might make backhanded compliments, subtly criticize you under the guise of humor, or use sarcasm to convey their frustration. This type of behavior can be confusing and exhausting, as it creates an environment of uncertainty where you're left guessing their true intentions. The passive-aggressive acquaintance might smile on the surface, but their words carry a sting that can linger long after the conversation ends. This indirect hostility can make you feel unsettled and unsure about your interactions with them. Impact on your mental clarity. Passive-aggressive behavior can cloud your sense of clarity and create unnecessary tension. You may find yourself replaying conversations in your head, trying to determine if you did something wrong or why they might be upset. Over time, this can lead to increased stress and self-doubt, making your interactions with that person a source of discomfort rather than positive connection. Philosophy of direct communication and emotional detachment. To deal with passive-aggressive behavior, it's essential to foster an environment of direct communication. If an acquaintance makes a comment that feels off or hurtful, consider addressing it in a straightforward yet non-confrontational manner. For instance, you could say, "I'm not sure I understood what you meant by that, could you explain?" This forces them to clarify their intentions and encourages transparency. It's also important to emotionally detach from their remarks. Recognize that their behavior is a reflection of their own issues, not a true assessment of you. Don't let their indirect negativity disrupt your peace. Instead, focus on the people and activities that genuinely make you feel good. 2. The overly familiar acquaintance. Another challenging type of acquaintance is the overly familiar person. This individual may lack an understanding of personal boundaries and assume a level of closeness that hasn't been established. They might ask intrusive questions, give unsolicited advice, or try to insert themselves into aspects of your life where you're not comfortable having them. This kind of behavior can make you feel as though your personal space is being invaded, especially when you haven't built the level of trust necessary for such interactions. It can create awkward situations where you feel pressured to share more than you're comfortable with. Impact on your sense of autonomy. When someone becomes overly familiar too quickly, it can create feelings of discomfort and unease. You may start to dread interactions with them because of their intrusive nature, and you might feel pressured to reveal personal details or accept their advice to avoid awkwardness. This can take away from your sense of autonomy, leaving you feeling like you have less control over your own boundaries. Philosophy of polite assertion and personal space. Dealing with an overly familiar acquaintance requires polite assertion. Establishing your boundaries early on can prevent these interactions from becoming overwhelming. When they ask questions that feel too personal, it's okay to respond with something like, "I prefer not to discuss that," or "I'm more comfortable keeping that private." You can be friendly while still making it clear that certain topics are off limits. It's also helpful to physically maintain personal space when interacting with this type of person. If they tend to stand too close or overstay their welcome, use subtle cues like stepping back or excusing yourself from the conversation. These nonverbal signals can reinforce the boundaries you're setting. 3. The one-up acquaintance. The third type of acquaintance to be mindful of is the one-up person. This individual always seems to turn conversations into a competition. If you share something good that happened to you, they'll immediately respond with something they did that was even better. If you're going through a tough time, they'll counter with an experience of their own that was even worse. Instead of offering empathy or genuine interest, they're constantly seeking to outdo you. Interactions with this type of person can leave you feeling unheard and minimized, as they shift the focus away from your experiences to make it about themselves. It's difficult to connect meaningfully with someone who sees every conversation as an opportunity to prove themselves superior. Impact on your sense of fulfillment. The one-up acquaintance can diminish your sense of fulfillment in social interactions. Instead of feeling supported and understood, you may end up feeling like your experiences are being dismissed or belittled. It can be draining to constantly engage with someone who seems more interested in winning conversations than in building a genuine connection. Philosophy of non-engagement and redirection. To handle a one-up acquaintance, practice the art of non-engagement. When they start turning the conversation into a competition, you don't need to participate. Instead, acknowledge their statement without comparing or trying to outdo them. Responses like, "That's interesting," or "I'm glad that worked out for you" can help end the cycle without escalating the competition. You can also redirect the conversation to more neutral topics where competition is less likely to occur. Ask about general interests or shared activities that don't involve personal achievements. By steering the conversation away from competitive ground, you can maintain a more comfortable dynamic. Maintaining healthy acquaintance relationships. Not all acquaintances are destined to become close friends, and that's perfectly okay. It's important to recognize the value of maintaining boundaries, even in casual relationships. By understanding how to identify and manage challenging behaviors, you can create more space for positivity and ensure that your interactions within the community are pleasant and stress-free. Tips for managing acquaintance dynamics. Limit personal information. Be mindful of how much personal information you share with acquaintances. Until a level of trust has been established, it's okay to keep conversations light and general. Set boundaries early. Establishing boundaries from the beginning can prevent issues from escalating. Whether it's avoiding personal topics or limiting the time spent in conversation, early boundaries help set the tone. Keep conversations neutral. With acquaintances, it's often best to keep topics neutral. Discussions about shared interests, community events, or general subjects can help keep the tone positive and avoid potential conflicts. Know when to disengage. Not every interaction has to be prolonged. If you're feeling uncomfortable or drained, it's okay to excuse yourself politely. Your time and energy are valuable, and it's important to protect them. Focus on the positive. Surround yourself with community members who uplift you and make you feel good. By focusing on positive relationships, it becomes easier to distance yourself from those that are less beneficial. Creating a positive community experience. Your community interactions play an important role in your overall well-being. Whether it's acquaintances from your local gym, people you meet at community events, or someone you see regularly at your favorite cafe, these small interactions can either contribute to your sense of belonging or detract from your peace. By being mindful of the dynamics at play and setting healthy boundaries, you can ensure that your community experience is one that brings joy and connection rather than stress and discomfort. Remember, it's okay to keep some people at a distance if their behavior consistently leaves you feeling uneasy or drained. Healthy boundaries are not about pushing people away, they're about creating the space you need to thrive. Whether you're dealing with a passive-aggressive acquaintance, someone who gets too familiar too quickly, or a competitive one-upper, your well-being is worth protecting. Your community relationships should contribute to your happiness and sense of peace. By taking control of your interactions and focusing on those that are supportive and balanced, you can enjoy the benefits of being part of a community without compromising your emotional health. Final thoughts on acquaintance boundaries. Navigating relationships with acquaintances requires a different approach compared to close friends or family. The key lies in maintaining a level of openness while also protecting your personal space. You don't owe anyone more than you're comfortable giving, and setting boundaries is a vital part of maintaining your well-being. If this discussion resonates with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you had to set boundaries with an acquaintance before? How did it go? Share your experiences so we can all learn from each other's insights. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos about finding peace and fulfillment in all areas of life. Your support means a lot to us. Part 5. Protecting your emotional well-being in public and social settings. Interacting in public and social settings is a part of life that often brings joy, entertainment, and opportunities for connection. Whether it's a gathering at a community center, a casual chat at a cafe, or participating in local events, these moments can enrich our days and keep us engaged. However, public interactions can also come with emotional challenges, especially when dealing with difficult individuals or uncomfortable situations. As we grow older, protecting our emotional well-being in these scenarios becomes increasingly important. Learning how to manage interactions with strangers, acquaintances, or people you encounter at social gatherings can help you maintain your peace and make the most out of your social experiences. In this part, we'll cover how to recognize problematic behaviors in public settings and practical strategies to protect your emotional well-being. 1. The overly opinionated stranger. One type of individual you may encounter in public settings is the overly opinionated stranger. This person often feels compelled to share their unsolicited thoughts on a wide range of topics, whether it's politics, lifestyle choices, or even personal matters. They may speak with an air of authority, making it challenging to engage in a balanced conversation without feeling overwhelmed or belittled by their strong views. The overly opinionated stranger might not recognize boundaries, and their intention to educate or persuade can quickly make the interaction feel uncomfortable, particularly if their views differ significantly from your own. Impact on your comfort and peace. Being in a conversation where someone constantly pushes their views on you can be draining and uncomfortable. It may leave you feeling defensive, anxious, or even angry, especially if they disregard your opinions or make you feel unheard. Instead of enjoying a friendly interaction, you may end up feeling like you have to defend yourself or justify your choices. Philosophy of neutral responses and disengagement. The key to managing interactions with overly opinionated strangers is to stay neutral. You don't have to agree with or challenge their views. Instead, consider using neutral responses like, "That's an interesting perspective," or "Everyone has their own way of seeing things." These kinds of responses can help diffuse the intensity of the conversation without escalating tension. If the interaction continues to feel uncomfortable, it's okay to politely excuse yourself. Say something like, "It was nice chatting, but I need to get going," and move on. Remember, you are not obligated to engage in conversations that disrupt your peace or make you feel uneasy. 2. The persistent salesperson. Another individual you may come across in public settings is the persistent salesperson. Whether it's someone selling products on the street, at a local event, or even within a social circle, this person can make you feel pressured to buy something or commit to something you're not interested in. They might use persuasive tactics, like emphasizing limited time offers or making you feel guilty for declining. The pressure they apply can create an uncomfortable dynamic, making it hard to enjoy your time without feeling cornered into making a purchase or decision you don't want. Impact on your autonomy. When someone tries to pressure you into buying something, it can make you feel like your autonomy is being compromised. You might feel trapped in the conversation, unsure of how to decline without seeming rude. This sense of obligation can detract from the enjoyment of being out and about, turning what should be a pleasant outing into a stressful situation. Philosophy of firm refusal and repetition. The best way to handle a persistent salesperson is to be firm yet polite. Use clear, straightforward statements like, "No, thank you," or "I'm not interested." If they continue to push, simply repeat your refusal without giving further explanation. Persistence often works because people feel uncomfortable saying no multiple times, but by repeating your response, you can maintain control over the situation. It's also helpful to avoid engaging with the details of their pitch. Once you've decided you're not interested, there's no need to provide reasons or explanations. Staying consistent in your response helps convey that your decision is final. 3. The personal space invader. Another type of challenging individual you might encounter is the personal space invader. This person may stand too close, touch your arm frequently while speaking, or otherwise ignore the usual boundaries that create comfort in public interactions. While they may not mean any harm, their disregard for personal space can make you feel uneasy or even anxious. Physical boundaries are important for maintaining comfort, and when someone ignores them, it can lead to stress and discomfort, especially in situations where you cannot easily move away. Impact on your sense of safety. Having someone invade your personal space can make you feel vulnerable or unsafe, even if the person is not being overtly aggressive. It can create a sense of unease and make it difficult to focus on the conversation. If you feel trapped or overwhelmed, this can lead to heightened anxiety and a strong desire to exit the situation. Philosophy of reclaiming space and verbal cues. To manage interactions with a personal space invader, start by subtly reclaiming your space. Take a step back or angle your body to create more distance. This nonverbal cue can often signal your discomfort without the need for words. If they don't seem to pick up on the cue, it's okay to address it verbally. You can say something like, "I'm more comfortable with a bit of space," or "Could we step back a little?" Most people will respect your request once they're made aware of it, and it helps to assert your comfort in a clear, respectful manner. Managing emotional well-being in social gatherings. Social gatherings, whether large events or small get-togethers, can be wonderful opportunities for connection. However, they can also present challenges when it comes to maintaining your emotional well-being. From navigating small talk with strangers to managing interactions with people you're not particularly close to, it's essential to prioritize your comfort and peace. 1. Handling small talk with grace. Small talk is a common part of social gatherings, but it can sometimes feel superficial or exhausting, especially if you're not in the mood for it. Some people may also use small talk as a way to pry into your personal life or steer conversations into uncomfortable territory. The key to handling small talk is to keep it light and steer the conversation towards neutral, positive topics. If someone asks a question you'd rather not answer, it's okay to deflect politely. You could say, "Oh, I'd rather talk about something else. How have you been enjoying the event?" Redirecting the conversation helps you maintain control and keeps things comfortable. 2. Avoiding emotional overcommitment. In social settings, you might encounter individuals who expect a lot of emotional energy from you, whether it's someone who wants to share their troubles or someone who dominates the conversation with their own issues. While it's important to be empathetic, it's equally important to avoid overcommitting emotionally, especially if it starts to feel draining. Practice setting gentle boundaries by listening briefly and then redirecting the conversation or excusing yourself. For instance, you might say, "I'm really sorry you're dealing with that. I hope things get better soon," before moving on to another topic or person. It's okay to protect your emotional energy, particularly in a social environment where there are many people to engage with. 3. Knowing when to exit a conversation. Not every conversation at a social gathering will be enjoyable, and knowing when and how to exit a conversation is an important skill. If you're feeling uncomfortable or simply want to move on, use polite exit lines like, "It's been great chatting with you, I think I'll go grab a drink," or "I'm going to say hello to someone I haven't seen in a while." These lines are polite and provide a natural way to step away. Maintaining balance in public and social interactions. Navigating public and social interactions in a way that protects your emotional well-being is all about balance. It's important to be open to new connections and experiences while also being mindful of your own comfort and boundaries. By recognizing challenging behaviors, whether from strangers or people you meet in social settings, you can take proactive steps to ensure your interactions remain positive and fulfilling. Tips for protecting your emotional well-being. Trust your gut feelings. If an interaction feels uncomfortable or draining, trust your instincts. You have every right to remove yourself from situations that do not serve your well-being. Keep conversations light. In public settings, keeping conversations light and general can help avoid unnecessary tension. Talk about neutral topics like current events, hobbies, or shared experiences to maintain a positive dynamic. Practice assertiveness. Whether it's reclaiming your personal space or declining an invitation, practicing assertiveness allows you to protect your comfort without feeling guilty. Know your limits. Socializing should be enjoyable, not exhausting. Know your limits when it comes to emotional energy, and don't hesitate to take breaks or excuse yourself if needed. Final thoughts on emotional self-care in public spaces. Social interactions are an important part of a fulfilling life, and they can bring great joy and connection when approached with care. Protecting your emotional well-being in public and social settings means recognizing when situations or individuals are challenging your comfort and knowing how to respond in a way that honors your needs. Whether it's dealing with an overly opinionated stranger, managing pressure from a salesperson, or maintaining your boundaries at social events, taking charge of your interactions ensures that you remain in control of your own emotional health. If you found these tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content focused on building a peaceful and fulfilling life. And share your thoughts in the comments below. What strategies have helped you maintain your emotional well-being in public settings? We'd love to hear from you. Part 6. Practicing self-care and cultivating inner peace. As we've discussed throughout this series, our relationships, whether with neighbors, family, friends, acquaintances, or strangers, have a profound impact on our quality of life. Setting boundaries and navigating these connections mindfully can significantly contribute to our overall well-being. However, there is one relationship that is perhaps the most important of all, the relationship we have with ourselves. practicing self-care and cultivating inner peace are key to maintaining balance and happiness, especially in our later years. In this final part, we'll explore some simple yet powerful practices for nurturing your inner self. These practices can help you manage stress, strengthen resilience, and create a sense of tranquility, regardless of the external challenges you face. Let's dive into the art of self-care and discover how to build a sanctuary within ourselves. 1. The power of mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of the most effective tools for cultivating inner peace. It involves focusing your attention on the present moment without judgment. By staying fully present, you can reduce anxiety about the future and let go of regrets from the past. Mindfulness can be practiced anywhere, whether you're sitting quietly at home, taking a walk, or even doing daily chores. One simple way to practice mindfulness is through mindful breathing. Take a few minutes each day to sit quietly and focus on your breath. Breathe in slowly through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then exhale gently through your mouth. Pay attention to the rhythm of your breathing and how it feels in your body. This simple practice can help calm your mind and bring you back to the present whenever you feel overwhelmed. Impact on your emotional well-being. Practicing mindfulness can help reduce stress, improve your emotional regulation, and increase your overall sense of well-being. By focusing on the present, you learn to appreciate the simple moments of life, like the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of birds singing, or the taste of your favorite cup of tea. Mindfulness helps you recognize and savor the beauty in each day, even when challenges arise. Philosophy of being present. The philosophy behind mindfulness is to embrace the present moment for what it is, without wishing it were different or worrying about what comes next. Practicing mindfulness allows you to fully engage with your surroundings and live each day with intention, which can greatly enhance your sense of inner peace. 2. The importance of gratitude. Gratitude is another powerful practice for nurturing inner peace. Taking time to reflect on the things you are thankful for can shift your perspective from focusing on what you lack to recognizing the abundance that already exists in your life. This simple yet profound shift can greatly improve your mood and outlook. Consider starting a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be big or small: a visit from a loved one, a delicious meal, or even a beautiful sunset. By cultivating an attitude of gratitude, you train your mind to focus on the positive aspects of life, which can help you feel more content and fulfilled. Impact on your mental health. Gratitude can have a powerful impact on your mental health. It helps reduce negative emotions, like envy and resentment, while increasing feelings of happiness and optimism. By focusing on the good in your life, you build resilience against the stresses and challenges that come your way. Practicing gratitude can also strengthen relationships, as it encourages you to acknowledge and appreciate the people who bring joy into your life. Philosophy of abundance. The philosophy of gratitude is rooted in abundance. It's about recognizing that, regardless of life's ups and downs, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude encourages you to see the world through a lens of appreciation, which can bring a sense of peace and fulfillment, even during challenging times. 3. Embracing physical self-care. Physical well-being is closely connected to emotional and mental health. Taking care of your body through regular exercise, a balanced diet, and adequate rest is an essential aspect of self-care. You don't need to engage in intense workouts or follow strict diets. Even gentle activities like walking, stretching, or yoga can have significant benefits for your overall well-being. Exercise releases endorphins, which are known as the feel-good hormones. Engaging in physical activities that you enjoy can help reduce stress, boost your mood, and improve your energy levels. Likewise, nourishing your body with wholesome foods and staying hydrated can enhance both your physical and mental health. Impact on your vitality. Caring for your physical health can increase your vitality and make everyday activities easier and more enjoyable. Simple routines like taking a walk in the morning or spending time gardening can keep your body active and give you a sense of accomplishment. When your body feels good, it's easier to maintain a positive outlook and keep stress at bay. Philosophy of self-respect. The philosophy behind physical self-care is rooted in self-respect. By treating your body well, you honor the vessel that carries you through life. Physical self-care is not about perfection, it's about taking small, meaningful steps each day to nurture your health and well-being. 4. Setting healthy boundaries for self-care. An essential aspect of self-care is learning to set healthy boundaries. We've already discussed setting boundaries with others, but it's also important to set boundaries for yourself. This means knowing when to rest, when to say no, and when to prioritize your own needs over external demands. Many people feel a sense of guilt when they say no or take time for themselves, but it's important to remember that self-care is not selfish. It's necessary for maintaining your health and well-being. By setting healthy boundaries, you create space for the activities and relationships that truly nourish you, allowing you to live a more balanced and fulfilling life. Impact on your stress levels. Setting healthy boundaries can help you reduce stress and prevent burnout. When you prioritize your own needs, you have more energy and emotional capacity to show up fully for the people and activities that matter most. Boundaries also help protect you from taking on unnecessary responsibilities or becoming overwhelmed by other people's expectations. Philosophy of balance. The philosophy behind setting boundaries is one of balance. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and emotional resources are limited, and choosing to invest them wisely. Setting boundaries allows you to create a life that feels balanced, intentional, and aligned with your values. 5. The value of connecting with nature. Spending time in nature can be incredibly grounding and restorative. Whether it's a walk in the park, a visit to the beach, or simply sitting in your garden, connecting with the natural world can help you feel more at peace. Nature has a way of reminding us of the beauty and simplicity of life, helping us put our worries into perspective. Take time to notice the details, the rustle of leaves, the warmth of the sun, the scent of flowers. These small moments of connection can bring a sense of calm and joy, helping you feel more centered and grounded. Impact on your sense of calm. Spending time in nature can lower stress levels, reduce anxiety, and promote a sense of calm. Nature provides a space to disconnect from the busyness of everyday life and reconnect with yourself. It's a reminder of the beauty that exists in the world, offering a much-needed respite from worries and distractions. Philosophy of simplicity. The philosophy behind connecting with nature is rooted in simplicity. It's about appreciating the natural beauty that surrounds us and finding contentment in the simple things. Nature reminds us that we don't need much to feel happy and at peace. Often, it's the small, quiet moments that bring the most joy. 6. Nurturing creative expression. Engaging in creative activities can be a wonderful way to nurture your inner self. Whether it's painting, writing, knitting, or playing a musical instrument, creative expression allows you to explore your emotions and express yourself in a meaningful way. It's not about creating something perfect, it's about enjoying the process and allowing yourself to be free. Creative activities can be incredibly therapeutic, providing an outlet for stress and helping you connect with your inner world. They can also bring a sense of accomplishment and joy, especially when you create something that has personal meaning. Impact on your joy and fulfillment. Nurturing creative expression can bring a deep sense of joy and fulfillment. It allows you to connect with your passions and explore new aspects of yourself. Engaging in creativity can also improve your mood and reduce stress, providing a positive outlet for your emotions. Philosophy of self-exploration. The philosophy behind creative expression is one of self-exploration. It's about giving yourself permission to explore, play, and create without judgment. Creative activities allow you to connect with your inner self and express your emotions in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling. Final thoughts on self-care and inner peace. As we wrap up this video, remember that cultivating inner peace starts with nurturing the relationship you have with yourself. By practicing mindfulness, embracing gratitude, caring for your physical health, setting healthy boundaries, connecting with nature, and engaging in creative expression, you can create a life filled with balance, joy, and tranquility. Self-care is not a one-time activity, it's a lifelong practice of prioritizing your well-being and making choices that honor your needs. By taking time to care for yourself, you build resilience, reduce stress, and create a solid foundation for navigating life's challenges with grace and strength. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey toward greater peace and fulfillment. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future content. And we'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite ways to practice self-care? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue supporting each other on this journey toward living our best, most peaceful lives.